Is your master distorting? Because I know exactly why. You probably have no idea how loud your kick and bass should actually be. You're just guessing. And after 7 years of failing at this myself, I discovered the exact dB values that changed everything. We all know that the kick and bass are the foundation of any track. Get them wrong, and you're screwed. Too quiet? Your track lacks power in low end. Too loud? Everything distorts the second you hit a limiter. For years, I'd set my kick and bass by ear, thinking they sounded good. Then I'd get to mastering and face a dilemma. Either I don't get the track as loud as I want, or I do, but it comes with nasty distortion on top. So I'd go back and make changes, over and over, repeating the cycle and never getting it right. So here's what nobody tells you. Even if your kick and bass are perfectly frequency balanced and sidechained, if you don't know the exact volume each one needs to be at, you'll never get a clean master. The kick needs to punch through and drive the rhythm without causing distortion, and the bass needs to fill up the track without eating up all your headroom. But what are the actual numbers? Nobody could tell me. They just say, use your ears. I kept thinking, there have to be specific values, actual measurements, not just guessing until it sounds right. After years of trial and error, measuring successful tracks, and getting a broader understanding of the topic, I finally cracked the code, and it's stupidly simple once you know it. Using ProMB as my measurement tool, I discovered the magic numbers. One sits 6 dB above the threshold, and the other sits 4 dB below. Which one's which, you're asking? Well, here's the answer. After frequency balancing your kick and bass with ProMB, as I showed in previous videos, you set the kick's level to hit 6 dB above the threshold. Your kick is now at the perfect volume to punch through without causing problems. Then, you set your bass to sit at 4 dB below the threshold. This makes your track sound full without eating up headroom. The bass is now leveled perfectly without hurting your master. And here's the key insight. The kick is the most important element in your track. It drives the rhythm, it is the heartbeat of the track. So that's why it's the only element that's allowed to trigger ProMB's compressors and be the loudest. Everything else, including the bass, stays below that threshold. Now here's where it gets interesting. In certain genres like bass house or hybrid trap tracks, where you actually want that clipped, aggressive kick sound, you can drive the kick harder, up to 18 dB above threshold instead of 6, while the bass stays at -4 dB. But now your kick has that in-your-face character those genres need. This isn't arbitrary. When your kick is the only element triggering the compressor at +6 dB and your bass sits at exactly -4 dB, you've created the optimal setup for loud, clean masters. Before I knew this, I'd set levels by ear and hope for the best. Sometimes I'd get lucky, but mostly, I'd end up with either a weak master or a distorted mess. Now, I nail it every time. Because I'm not guessing, I'm using exact measurements. This one discovery changed everything about how I approach mixing. No more getting to the mastering stage and realizing my levels are all wrong. No more choosing between loud and clean. Now I get both. And the best part? Once you set these levels correctly, mastering becomes almost effortless. You're not fighting bad level decisions with limiting and compression. You're enhancing an already solid foundation. But all of this would not have happened if it wasn't for ProMB by FabFilter. So you think you know the full story? Because you'll want to subscribe and hear me reveal the story of how it all started in the next video. And trust me, there's a valuable lesson to be learned from it.